Hello.
Hi, hello, welcome. I'm Cathy Boxall. I head up the global entertainment team here at dentsu. Thank you very much for coming this afternoon. We've got a very exciting discussion about brands and working together with IP across gaming and entertainment and sports. And we want to talk a little bit as well about the new fandom intelligence tool that our teams in the EBC and in Tokyo have developed, which is a really exciting new tool that we can use with dentsu clients to help you better understand the entertainment landscape, identify, evaluate these kind of partnership opportunities. So we wanted to get together some of the very best in the business, very experienced people in this space to talk a bit about how you do that from a brand perspective, from a platform perspective. So I will hand over to you guys. Introduce yourselves.
Sure. So my name is Chris Rice. I lead, I'm the VP of Connected Consumer Experiences for Heineken US. What that includes media, e-commerce, all of our owned experiences, so CRM, site, as well as customer data analytics. So what we're trying to do is really create more of a connected consumer experience that really lives from awareness all the way through the line and into purchase and into loyalty and beyond. So glad to be here.
Hi, I'm AARTI. I head up the Netflix brand creative studio. I'm focused on marketing for the Netflix brand, but really excited to be here today to talk about creative partnerships. So bringing together our most beloved IP and stories and characters with equally beloved brands to create something new for fans everywhere.
Yes, thank you. I'm YOSHI from dentsu Japan, from Tokyo. My role is to do a brand and IP collaboration. My team receive about over 1,000 inquiries every year from a client team, and out of that, about 100 brand and IP cases go out live. So from this experience, and also from the data set that we're building, I'd like to join this conversation and see what's it like. Yes, looking forward to. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, guys. Lovely to have you. Right, so let's dig in. I will kick off. So we're here talking about entertainment marketing. I've been doing this for far too long, as I'm sure you guys have too. But it's changed a lot. It's changed fundamentally over the past few years. What do you think is driving that shift? What is driving that change in how brands interact with entertainment now? And I will throw that to AARTI first.
Yeah, of course. I think for a long time, entertainment was something we sat back and consumed and enjoyed. But now we have so much more control over what we watch, when we watch it, even how we watch it. So entertainment with that level of ownership isn't just something you watch, it's actually your identity. You used to meet someone and say, what do you do or where are you from? Now I'm just likely to say, what are you watching? Yep. And with that, you really start to build and find yourself in new communities and new spaces. And I think, Cathy, for brands, that just means they're able, if they can add value to that community, to that fandom, they can do something in entertainment marketing that's just much harder to do in traditional channels.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know you've got some great examples, haven't you, where you've been doing this?
Well, no, I was going to build off of what AARTI was saying. I think consumers really aren't just consuming content anymore, as you were saying. It's, they're really organizing their identities around these fandoms. The fandoms are communities. They're not how many people are actually watching them. It's all about the passion. And I think to your point, what's really been a driving force behind it is, the content, the streaming, the creator economy that we've built, right? You can think about an infinite number of content sources and channels that you can go to around your fandoms, whether it's F1, whether it's sports, whether it's entertainment. There are an infinite number of sources you can get content from and where you can go and produce more content from. So it really becomes this virtuous cycle where there's more content created, it fuels the fandoms, more people come in. At Heineken, we really think about how do we, we certainly don't want to interrupt that sort of ecosystem, but we do want to at some point, earn the right to play a role in that ecosystem. So that's really what we're aiming for.
Fantastic. And YOSHI, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, when I think about the shift of entertainment, maybe I refer to my personal story. It was at age of 14 when I first went to England as an exchange student. I spoke no English. It was a struggle to make friends there. And in high school, people can be kind of mean, just kind of hustle guy just comes up and says, hey, what's up, you guys? And what you got? And I don't play football. It's struggled to really make friends back then. But kids nowadays, it's so nice that they have numbers of ways to instantly connect. Thanks to Netflix, thanks to digital medias, like let's say game or anime or Netflix shows. If you have a keychain that shows a character that you like and you find a person in the hallway, it's like, dude, you like that? Well, I like that too. And that's an instant connection.
Yeah.
So this instant connection is the power of entertainment, I think. And it's a person-to-person story, but I think it's the same for brand to an audience, yes.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, we talk a lot in marketing about emotion and emotional connections, but it is. It's really, really deep level emotion that people can connect with. Fantastic. I mean, Netflix, Heineken, like you're both very big brands that have been working in this space for a very long time. In your opinion, what makes a really good partnership work? And what is it, sometimes if it falls flat, what is it that causes that to happen? And again, AARTI, I'll throw that to you.
Yeah, I think what's really important with a partnership, it is exactly that. It's a partnership. You want to come into it open and creatively ambitious, but we find our strongest partnerships are ones where the brand really knows they're entering a new world. They're engaging with a new group of people. They're not just maintaining their businesses as usual world. Entertainment partnerships are an opportunity to do sort of business unusual, right? Most of the time, our partners are coming to us asking to tap into a new audience or increase relevance with a new one. That means you really have to meet the fans where they are, understand them. Fans can be quite irrational and obsessive and dedicated and have sort of nuances that you might not even understand as a brand. Even listening to YOSHI, like there's something you're saying when you go deep in the fandom, and if the brand doesn't want to sort of immerse themselves in that world, it will be hard for them to get the most value out of that partnership.
Yeah, it's about immersing yourself in that world fully. I mean, I know obviously this is what you do.
Yeah, I mean, for us, it's like the good partnerships start with and have to start with the fans and have to start with sort of that fan truth, right? So what is going to make the experience more valuable? What is going to make it more rewarding? How can you sort of add to the experience? Before you even start having conversations around what the brand and what the business objectives are. If it doesn't deliver the fan at first, there's no point in really going forward. Then you can think about how does your brand, credibly integrate into the experience and sort of credibly add value to it. So for example, we are the official beer of soccer, Heineken is, and we realized that soccer fans in the US honestly had no idea where to go, what bar to go to actually watch the games, right? So we recognized an opportunity, we recognized a need within the fandom, and we produced what we call a sports bar finder, a soccer bar finder. We actually helped our fans find out where the heck they can go and actually watch the games, right? So we're credibly delivering value in a way that's ultimately actually connecting to commerce.
I love that because you gave them a way to participate. I want to give a shout out to our friends from Shondaland who are in the audience. And earlier this year, we did a partnership with Unilever and Bridgerton. And that is one of those IPs that just has an obsessive fandom. And these folks don't just want to watch the show, they want to live in it. It is now a lifestyle for them. So in that work we did with Dove, we didn't only connect with the sort of essence of real beauty, but the notion of self-expression and being your full self in your identity. But we took it a step further with our partners and actually develop product against it. So you can just bring that story home with you and live it in a way that you couldn't without that partnership. And I think that's what makes it so special and goes beyond what any brand can do on their own, which is so essential for a great partnership.
I do speak as a mother who had to go out and try and find those products. There was a lot of demand in my house for those. No, I fully agree. Right, Yoshi, I was going to ask you a question. That was a lovely story. I mean, you obviously straddle two worlds between, you speak English beautifully, but you are obviously Japanese now. You live in Tokyo. How do you find the differences? Japan has a very distinct entertainment culture. What can the rest of the world learn from how Japanese audiences engage with IP and how they work with these kind of properties?
Got it. Okay. I think I think we are universally in agreement that, let's say, sharing a personal secret can add an intimacy to a personal relationship, I think, right? And I think Japanese fandom can be framed in that context, but like double or triple meaning to it. For example, let's say, like, anime or game comes from like rather a hidden place. Like people are a little shy to express it. Like I'm okay to just go tell the world that I'm a baseball fan and I'm a football fan. I don't have any hurdle. But when it comes to anime, a bit shy, worrying that some of you may think I'm a weird person. So this insecurity as like the baseline comes when I find the person that's really connected, that becomes a safe place, right? In addition to that, like this form of entertainment in Japan often comes as a form of resistance to sort of a social strict like behavioral standard. You know, it's a suppressed urge to express yourself. Having a keychains around, having this logo of what you like, expressing who you are. So all this together, this community, this emerging community is like a place where they can truly be themselves in safe mind. And I think this is growing like United States, United Kingdom, Europe, everywhere. Like some pioneer, my friends in US, UK, like they were the first one, probably their pioneer stage. They might have thought they're the only ones in the classroom that like this particular comic, but they follow the same path, like finding their common shared value people on the online. Oh no. And then meet them on the expo. And wow, there's a place that you can explode yourself. And now that this community is like going large scale, that marketers like us can no longer ignore. And that's what it is, I guess.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, it just keeps coming back to emotion and engagement. And I think, I mean, obviously everyone sitting here, they're marketeers. So, you know, the big question is, we know that audience is there, the emotion is there, the engagement is there. They're perfect audience to speak to as a brand. To be totally prosaic about it, how do you then take all of that emotion and love and, to your point with the Bridgerton products, turn it into sales? How do we create that direct line into sales? So creating that purchase intent, how we do it, how do we make it frictionless as possible when we're doing these projects? So Chris, I'll chuck that one to you.
Yeah, I mean, you know, honestly, I think it starts from an easier place. At least think through the line. Like so oftentimes these partnerships come up and they're only activated over here, right? And there's an entire missed opportunity through all the other breadth of ways you engage with consumers. So start thinking through the line, bring folks into the room and have the conversations, and think about how, like the Bridgerton, I'm sure you had to have sales folks in the conversation versus they probably weren't in before, right? So how do you have the right folks in the room so you can think about how to bring that partnership to life through the line, right? I think secondly, when you're thinking about sort of the actual commerce element, what's the element of value you're delivering in that commerce experience, right? So is it speed? Is it more seamless? Is it frictionless? Is it getting the product into someone's hands faster? Or maybe you're actually adding to the actual experience, like Bridgerton did through the LTOs or through the collabs. You know, in the experience itself. And then you know, when we think about actually sort of measuring the impact of our partnerships and market. I don't know, nothing's perfect, but I think there's sort of two questions we have to ask ourselves. One, did we add value to the experience, right? Did the fans, did the consumers appreciate how we were actually participating? And two, did it actually drive greater intent for consumption, for purchase of our products? And if we did those two things, we could somehow measure those two things fairly well, then I think we're probably doing a good job.
Yeah. I would just add, I think entertaining and selling are not in opposition of each other. And I think partners who know that really get the most value out of these types of programs. So last year we did a program with Wednesday and Wendy's, for example. And obviously everyone has a commercial objective, but fans know if you're putting the sale ahead of putting the fandom and the reward and the showing. You will get both, but you have to do it in the right order. Yeah. You have to honor the IP, you have to understand and reward the fan, and if you do those things in that order, the sales will come. But if you get the formula twisted, everyone will be able to tell. And so with Wendy's and Wednesday, yes, they have to sell meals. We made those meals the meals of misfortune. And then we took one particular Wendy's in California and literally converted it into a morgue. So people could buy the meal for the first time, but also do that through a full experience. The sales were incredible. The line was 8 hours long and went into the highway. But again, if you do things in the right order, even with a brand like Wendy's that has a wit to it, Wednesday will push you to the edge. Yeah. She will get a brand out of her comfort zone, but if you actually welcome yourself into that world and embrace it, the fans will come with you, and so will the sales.
Yeah, you can really bring them along with you and really influence their behavior. That's fantastic. And I know, Yoshi, you also had an example, I think, more of an anime example around that, of like how those sort of tapping into those fandoms drive sales.
Yes. Like, for example, like let's say like like the example about like I met the friend and got the fandom together. Let's say like me and the friend is like the Netflix One Piece fans together. Then we're talking about
that.
Yeah, we'll be talking like, dude, did you see the latest episode? Oh yeah, that was so good. Thing like that, right? And then did you know that, let's say, the next week is the birthday of Luffy? It's May 5th, by the way. And, oh, dude, I didn't know that. Okay, my friend is baking the birthday cake just for fun. Let's come together. Like this kind of thing happens in the community. And what if you are a brand of soft drink, let's say orange juice or apple juice, pops up in the community, say, hey, happy birthday, Luffy, to all the fans. And just for the celebration, I changed the logo in a silhouette of Luffy just for a week. And that makes the fan goes like, whoa. And along that, if you have like original, like unique can, like unlimited, like limited edition of cans, whatnot's available, that's a smooth transition to purchase. So I guess stuff like that, I guess like make the context celebrate with the fans. Like do not just like go straight into that, but just make a connection. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we've talked as well, and I mean, Chris is particularly on the Heineken side, around sort of building that permission and, giving yourself a sort of a permission to play in a space and to speak to those fans on more of a long-term basis. So they start to expect to see you showing up there. The term that we've used a lot at dentsu, we talk about forever fans and creating forever fandom. So it's sort of getting these customers who become as loyal to their brands as they would be, say, to a football team. But it's all about this kind of longevity. That's what drives the fans to keep coming back and spending more. So I know, Chris, you've got some thoughts on how best to do that.
No, I mean, so it's certainly not exposure that drives forever fandom. It's memories, right? So no one's going to remember a logo, but they'll remember an experience. They remember what that experience meant to them. They remember who brought that experience to them. And it's only by doing that and being there and being consistent over time that you can sort of really build out that presence. When you look at some of, the partnerships that we've had that go back many, 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 many years, like we've got these tremendous associations with whether it's F1 or whether it's soccer. Like our hope is that by doing that, we are a part of the ritual. So when you are going to watch a World Cup match, you automatically think, I need a Heineken to watch the match. Or you're going to watch college football. Dos Equis has built over the past number of years an enormous association with college football through the work we did around Go for Dos, right? We're really sort of celebrating that really bold moment in college sports where they go for two instead of going for the easy extra point, right? So doing those things over time, really continuing to leverage your DBAs, your distinctive brand assets, and building out that consistency is how you develop that long-term relationship and how you can ultimately, hopefully, be a part of the fan ritual.
Great. Fantastic. I suppose one of the challenges, though, if you're doing that, I mean, you're regularly in it, so you have a lot of relationships, you get to see what's coming down the pipe, you get to have that deep understanding of what the fans are interested in and what the sort of IP owners have got to offer. I suppose, generally speaking, for brands and for brand marketeers, I guess the challenge is there is a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff out there that you could be working with, and not all of it is great, or not all of it is right for your brand. I shouldn't say that, because everything's got a fandom, I'm sure, but maybe not all of it is right for your brand. And I know a big part of fandom intelligence, what we're trying to do there as dentsu, is help brands sort of identify what those big IP opportunities are, and then help them to understand how best to engage with them and kind of leverage them for their brands. So a question for you guys: how do you do that? How do you identify those brands and have those IPs and fit them together with the brands correctly? And AARTI, from your side, when you're looking at it as a platform.
Yeah, for us, the most important thing is to match the objective with the opportunity. I think oftentimes we're talking to brands and they might assume what IP is right for them, but as we get to know them, their objective, their history, and where they want to go, we might find a different kind of match than they could have expected. So one of the things we're here for this week is our Tiffany's program with Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. And I don't know that everyone would automatically associate Tiffany's and Company with Frankenstein.
Nope.
But really, Frankenstein, underneath that story, is like the beauty within the monster, the complexity, the obsession, and the craft. And there's so much of that obsession and craft story in Tiffany's history. And they, like Frankenstein, are two stories with a very long history. So it started with Guillermo del Toro's vision. Tiffany's actually went back into the archive to the time of Mary Shelley and actually brought back archival jewelry as well as designed new jewelry for that incredible masterpiece of Guillermo's. But we took it one step forward, as Chris talked about giving back to the fans and contribution and participation. We actually took over the Tiffany store's Fifth Avenue windows and created an electrifying light show inspired by the film itself. So I think, who you think your IP is might not be what it is, which is why knowing your objective is so important and being open and ambitious in terms of what entertainment might offer you.
I love that. It's sort of using that insight into the two, the IP and the brand, and then finding those really surprising connections that wouldn't necessarily be immediately obvious. I just love it. Also, I love that these are all great horror opportunities. I love it. We've got to get more people working with scary stories because it's such a massive opportunity. I absolutely love it. So yes, okay. So I mean, Yoshi, I know we've talked a bit about this as well, about how you find these kind of surprising connections. I know that's a big part of the work you've been doing.
What is it?
Finding connections, surprising connections.
Yes. Sorry, yeah. So, yeah, like as AARTI mentioned and Chris mentions as well, like I think creativity is very important to like support the right connections, or the match is connection. And I think as dentsu, we just launched this thing called dentsu fandom intelligence. It's a data-driven guideline that gives you like IP selection guideline or creative guideline as well. So we track over 400 IPs from like 8 years ago in Japan. And we map out those 400 IPs in the whole chart, like with the awareness, engagement, and you see the power of IP in the position map, which is exciting. And also like, there is the way like that, one unique thing about this is that this survey is connected, fused with Dentsu's whole marketing consumer research data globally. So for creative guideline, like for example, I can say this, fans of One Piece have a characteristic like this and this and this in your market. For example, in case of One Piece, I just checked it. It's high in creativity. They like to be adventurous. They are more seeking success, like 20% higher than the general population in index-wise. So if you are a brand that's looking for collaboration with One Piece in an authentic way, let's take those 3 points as a characteristic that drives into the core. So yeah, as the agency, I think we can be a guideline from an analytical point of view. Yep.
And it's all about audience, right? I know we were talking about this before, but in terms of understanding that audience as well.
Yeah. I think in identifying sort of the right IP, it's always about that Venn diagram, that overlap in terms of which IP is ultimately going to be speaking to who we want to speak to. So that's certainly a starting point. But then from there, it's really about really digging into those potential opportunities, better understand those audiences. And I think that can only really happen through collaboration, right? So I think we talk about how can brands really partner with content creators and producers to get to these partnerships, and it's really through collaboration, right? So no one understands the actual experiences, the contents better than the content engine, the content factory, the producers, and no one understands the products and the consumers behind those products more than the brands. So it's only when those two parties really come together can you identify what the right opportunities are, right? Because again, no one might have known that Frankenstein was a great fit if that had been uncovered through conversations. So on all of our partnerships, they only materialize in a way that has true value for consumers through that collaboration. So.
Yeah. And that's it, I guess, value. That's another term that's coming up a lot in terms of adding value. And we talk, within the entertainment business as well, we talk a lot about brands coming in and adding value to fans and adding value to the entertainment industry. I mean, this is a very open question, but where do brands best add value to entertainment and to the industry?
I think for me, we started this conversation talking about how entertainment is now identity and how important these communities are. I think brands can give fans these new ways to interact with these worlds and characters they love. We often talk about our best partnerships are ones where you feel like it's not a commercial interruption, it's an extension of that entertainment experience. It's almost like the scene from the show or the film has gone on longer, right? And you're getting this experience you couldn't otherwise have. I think about K-pop Demon Hunters and McDonald's, for example, that we just launched after the movie came out almost a year ago. And so with that, the fans absolutely love this film, and we're craving seeing these characters again in a different way. And we did this global Happy Meal with McDonald's, and it could have stopped there, but it was very much designed for them to sort of take the feelings they had after the film and put them in this new space. So instead of a traditional Happy Meal, we almost created a food fight because we had two Happy Meals. One of them was the Saja Boys, one of them was Huntrix,
Yep.
And you vote for the battle for the fans or the battle of the bands through purchasing the one that you associate and love the most. And every aspect of that program was about just what Chris said. So our team at Netflix is the brand creative studio, and our job isn't just to give brands access to licensed IP, it's to help them tell a more meaningful story for fans. And for so many of those fans of K-pop Demon Hunters, it was about Korean culture. So we actually worked with McDonald's in Korea to bring the flavors of Korea into the meal. There was Korean on the packaging. We worked with the original animators of the film to create the commercials and the videos and additional musical experiences we provided. So in this case, the brand had a massive role to bridge this unending appetite that the fandom had to engage with these characters again.
That's amazing. So, at the end of the day, that is the question you should be asking yourself, right? When you're going to do it, how am I going to add value? That sort of creative execution, what am I doing that brings something different to this fandom and something exciting for them? I love it. We're very short of time, but I've got one little question because obviously everyone who's listening is now desperate to obviously do a partnership with some Netflix IP, I'm sure. But as the experts in the room, if you were speaking to any of these guys now and giving them a bit of advice about how you build these kind of partnerships, what would be the one thing that you would tell everyone? What's your watch out? What's your kind of best, most pertinent piece of advice in this space?
I would say two things. One, and we've talked about it over and over again, fan comes first, right? Delivering value for the fan. I think we truly believe that if you deliver value for the fan, business value will follow, right? So that's first. The second one, there's probably too much of an over-focus on tentpole moments, those peaks, when it's really sort of the moments in between that really make the fan base, that really build that fan base, whether it's the group chats or all the conversations happening in social. So all the conversations, moments around those peaks, do not ignore those, because I think that's where the fan base is really built.
I would just say if you want to do an entertainment partnership, remember that your number one job is to entertain. There's a lot of ways to make ads and to make commercials, and that's incredibly important. But the real power of entertainment is that you're providing entertainment to fans and to people who may not even know the IP yet. So make sure you're open and ready to do that.
Oh yes, I really liked AARTI's point about like the K-pop demon and the McDonald case. Like my daughter likes that, so do I. The pop song, it's so nice. Now, so like after like we watch that show over and over, of course. But outside of that, like we do the merch, we do the dance, and like a lot of ways that we like play with it. And then the brand like McDonald in this case, and together with Netflix, offers another way to entertain, right? Oh, we can go to the McDonald's and just do this, and we have to go to twice to get both, right? So those things is like really nice. And so I guess like if I were to give advice or one point, I guess like ask with your sons and daughters or nieces and nephews, just like play with them, then you really get like what it means to be like entertaining, right? Yeah. So yeah, like really, it was really fascinating. Yes.
It really was. Thank you so much, guys. I know we're out of time, but that was so interesting. I can't wait to see what you guys have got coming next. It sounds fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.